Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sports Desk with Ryan Potts and Jack Mitchell. I'm Ryan Potts, otherwise known as Splash. You can find me on social media at Mr. Splashman19 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on the U Stadium app as Relax, at least until the Ravens lose again. You can find Jack on U Stadium at Jack Mitchell and on Instagram as Jack_Mitchell_01. How's it going, Jack?
Going great. The Splash. Welcome to the Splash. It's a great way to get started here.
Yeah. I'll take the L on that one. All this preparation I did before the show, and then I screw up the name of the show.
Very first episode. We're canceled.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Well, you know who might be canceled this weekend? One of our teams. So your team comes up first. Rams at Packers. The Packers are favored by a touchdown. What do you think the Packers are going to do, and what do you think the Rams are going to do this weekend?
I mean, to be completely honest with you, the Packers were saying that they were preparing for Goff the whole week. I think that's what Matt LaFleur said. And then, lo and behold, John Wolford is out, and all the mystery gets taken away. Now we know Goff is going to start in cold weather where he's terrible, with screws in his thumb still, I think. And what is he like? He hasn't thrown a touchdown. He's turned the ball over like 5 times in cold weather games. I don't know if it's going to snow, but regardless, it doesn't look good. So if the Rams do win this game, it's going to be because of the defense. 100% going to be the defense, because Jalen Ramsey, we've been talking about him all week, how he's been locking it down. He basically made DK Metcalf cry last week. Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the Rams defense versus the Packers offense as the key matchup in that one.
So I want to highlight the Rams defense, especially the pass defense. They've been spectacular. It's been top in almost every advanced metric you could think of for secondary play. And I just pushed on the app that they were the number one secondary, and it's been spectacular. And I was talking to my buddy the other day, and I said, hey, I might take this defense against the 2013 Seahawks, the 2015 Broncos. The only real difference is that those teams kind of had offenses. And this 2020 Rams, while you have McVay and Akers and Henderson and the talented pass catchers, I don't trust Jared Goff. And
No.
I trust 2015 Peyton Manning more than Jared Goff. And I trust second-year Russell Wilson more than Jared Goff. And this Rams defense had the chance to be an all-time great defense. It's the offense kind of let them down. Love Jalen Ramsey. Love Darius Williams. He had a huge pick six on a screen pass, which never happened.
That was literally the only pick on a screen pass all year long.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even if he just knocks it down, or even if he just picks it and DK tackles him, that's one of the best plays of the season. That's tape discipline. That is Darius Williams. Props to you. You're a baller. John Johnson, fantastic player as well. Troy Hill.
I hope they re-sign him so bad.
Yes. And Troy Hill had, 3 defensive touchdowns this year?
Yeah, I think 3.
And
2 against Arizona, 1 against 49ers.
And it all boils down to Aaron Donald. He should play. I would be surprised if he doesn't play.
To quote Sean McVay, the Terminator will be ready.
Okay.
That's exactly what he said.
So last week against Seattle, 6 pressures on 15 pass rush snaps. That's a 40% pressure rate for one player. One player. So special game from Donald last week, and I think he can have another special game against Green Bay. And Green Bay has a good interior offensive line with Corey Linsley, who is, I believe, all-pro center, well-deserved. Elgton Jenkins, great guard. They'll be without Bakhtiari on the at left tackle. So maybe there's some chance. Leonard Floyd, he had a huge game against Seattle as well.
Yeah.
I think the Rams can generate a pass rush. But again, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and
it's going to come down to the defense. I think just having to step up, and I think they can do it because we're talking about how they had an incredible game last week against Seattle. Aaron Donald didn't even play for the entire second half almost. He had that rib injury, and they were still getting sacks. Leonard Floyd was still getting to Russell Wilson. He's having a breakout year. I think Leonard Floyd has been incredible.
Yeah, I know coming into the season, a lot of people hated on the Rams for getting Floyd, and it was like, oh, well, Floyd only was good when Khalil Mack was 10 feet over. It's like, Yeah, but he's a very talented pass rusher. Even if you say, well, he's only talented when Aaron Donald's there,
Exactly.
I believe he led all defensive players in pressures last week. And remember, Donald didn't play half the game. You can say what you will about Seattle's turnstile of an offensive line, but hey, 7 pressures in a playoff game is nothing to scoff at.
No.
So give me a prediction. Rams, Packers.
Prediction. Should I include score?
Yeah, let's go score.
Okay. This is going to be a low-scoring one. I think Rams will take it by a touchdown, 21-14. It's going to be hard. It's really low-scoring for Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like if the Rams do win this game, it's going to be low-scoring. Defense is going to have a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if the Rams were to win, you're holding
not even
Rodgers
that.
under 20 points, and that's really hard to do.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bold prediction, and we're going to get to hot takes later. I think that's my hot take for the week. They hold Aaron Rodgers under.
Wow, that sounds like what Rodgers did against Tampa. Only 10 points, didn't score in the last 3 quarters. I'm a roll Green Bay, and I do think they cover. As much as I love LA's defense, I don't trust Jared Goff, and frankly, if I lose on this bet, if I lose in this hypothetical situation, I'd rather lose with Aaron Rodgers on my side than lose with Jared Goff on my side.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take Green Bay 24-14. I don't think the offense does much. Green Bay has been really strong against the run. Look at Week 16. They stuffed Derrick Henry for the most part. And, I mean, I love Cam Akers, love Darrell Henderson, love the offensive line, especially with Andrew Whitworth back. I don't think they're going to get much traction, and I don't trust Goff to, make the throws necessary to beat Green Bay in Green Bay.
I think Darrell Henderson is on the IR, actually.
Oh, okay. Malcolm Brown, running back 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's okay, but he hasn't been. Cam Akers has been improving.
Yeah, Akers led all running backs in yards last week. Shout out to Lamar Jackson. Who? Hey, guess what? Perfect segue.
Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens at Bills. My Ravens against the Bills. How do you think it goes, Jack?
That one's going to be a close one, I feel like. I mean, Buffalo's been Buffalo. I think it might just be similar to how it went last week, where Buffalo, they had the lead, and then Indy had a last chance effort to tie the game, and they couldn't do it.
So I do feel bad for Rivers. I know you're a notorious Charger hater, but I feel bad for Rivers.
I do too. Honestly, I feel bad for Rivers.
Yeah, the rest of the team kind of sold last week. Pittman had a fumble, had a drop in the end zone on a 4th and 4. And frankly, Frank Reich, I don't disagree with the decisions on the 4th and 4 or going for 2 in certain spots. I know Alec is somewhere in the chat probably about to be mad at us for analytics, but I think he made the right decisions. It just wasn't executed very well by the Colts offense.
Mm-hmm.
And Rivers, he had a good game and was his QBR was high, PFF grade was high. And he passed the eye test. I watched 3.5 quarters, and he looked good. I can't say that too much about Rivers. So I do shout out to Rivers. Played a great game. If that's his last game in the NFL, he went out with a bang. Tough to see them lose.
I'm glad that even if it was a smaller crowd, I'm glad that he got crowds rooting for him in his last season.
Right.
After the fiasco with the Chargers attendance the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And I think I was impressed with what Rivers did, and if he comes back, I think the Colts may not be Super Bowl contenders, but I do think they are a real playoff team next year moving forward.
They look good. So, I love Michael Pittman. He looks great.
Pittman, Campbell, I mean, even 30-something-year-old, I think T.Y. Hilton, he's good enough as if he's your wide receiver 1, there's a problem, but he's going to be your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 moving forward. That's going to be great. Offensive line is still sturdy, even with Anthony Costanzo retiring. And the running back stable, Marlon Mack, may come back. I think his contract has expired, and he's coming off a torn Achilles. But Jonathan Taylor came boom late in the season. Ran for 253 yards against Jacksonville. And he was okay against Buffalo. I think he had a big drop on a 2nd and medium that if if he catches it, it's a first down. So I think the Bills had been rolling. They didn't have the greatest of performances against Indy. I think a lot of Indy's errors were self-inflicted. It's not like Trey White knocking the ball away from Pittman. It's Pittman dropping it, And I think Baltimore and Buffalo, they might be the two hottest teams in the NFL. We'll talk about Tampa in a little bit, but for my money, I think Baltimore and Buffalo are the teams that are rolling, and there could be some real fireworks up in the potential snow up in Orchard Park.
That'd be fun to see at a snow game, honestly.
Yeah, it's like I love the snow. I don't really want to play in the snow.
Exactly.
I don't want to watch the Ravens.
Especially
in the snow.
when you root for a team that plays in Southern California, and now they have to play. Like, it's bad enough when it's freezing cold. Like, you saw even the 2018 Rams with the number 1 offense, basically, or number 2 offense against Chicago. They only scored 6 points. It was freezing cold.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I've certainly seen some Ravens games in the snow that went well. The classic is Ravens-Vikings in 2013, one of the greatest regular season games of all time, I think. And you're talking Lamar Jackson's never played in snow. According to Lamar Jackson, he's never played in snow. And, I mean, high school in Florida, college at Louisville makes sense. The Ravens haven't had I don't believe we've had a snow game in Baltimore in a while. In the last couple of years, our cold weather opponents, whether that be the Patriots or Bills or Steelers, Bengals, Browns, those haven't been snow games. So I'm excited to see Lamar in the snow. And if the snow starts falling and starts sticking, I think it might be time for the Gus Bus.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, me too. I love it. As much as I love Dobbins, as much as I love Lamar Jackson, this I think is going to be a Gus Edwards game. When I get my money back from NHL bets I make tonight, I'm going to put some money on Edwards, the over. I don't remember what his rushing tally is, but I think he's going to go over. I think he's going to score a touchdown too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, though.
Josh, okay, we can get to the Bills. I think Josh Allen's made a gigantic leap this year. Props to him. Also great wide receiving core. Diggs, John Brown, although he wasn't very good last week. Cole Beasley got all pro votes, which I'm still baffled by. Great receiver, just all pro caliber? I don't think so.
I'm not quite there yet.
And then you got Gabriel Davis, who was one of my favorite guys. Shout out to Holden in the chat, Central Florida. I think Buffalo is going to have a really strong offensive potential to have a really strong offensive performance. And I think the key for both teams is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, while talented, while top 8 quarterbacks. I don't know where other people rank Lamar Jackson, top 5, top 8, both of them will make one mistake this game. Just one, maybe 2. But the onus is on the defenses to capitalize on those mistakes. It's Marcus Peters catching the interception. It's Trey White catching the interception. It's recovering a fumble. It's going to be the little things. And I think if Baltimore capitalizes on an Allen turnover, they win. If Buffalo capitalizes on a Lamar Jackson turnover, they win. So I think
that's why they say defense wins championships. When you have 2 great offenses, somebody gets a turnover, can change the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. And so give me a score prediction.
Okay, this one's going to be higher scoring than Rams-Packers. I'm going to go 34-27. Buffalo wins. Okay.
So Buffalo is currently favored by between 2 and 2.5, depending on the bookie. I think it started Bills by 3. And I think, as much as I want to say this is a close game, I think there is severe blowout potential on both ends. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen aren't necessarily the most proven commodities in the playoffs. Lamar wasn't even great last week, and the Ravens won. Allen, of course, had his famous meltdown against the Texans last year. I'm not going to hold that against him anymore, but there is some blowout potential. Baltimore has, I think, 17 double-digit wins, or 17 wins by at least 14 in the last 2 years. And, of course, Buffalo has that just ability to kill you with deep passing. And I think my key is going to be how Wink Martindale defends Josh Allen. If it's a lot of blitz, the Bills are going to win by about 20.
Sure.
If if he has an adjusted game plan like he did against the Titans, shout out to Derrick Henry for getting 40 yards. If he has an adjusted game plan, plays, Josh Allen proof defense, I think the Ravens can win maybe by 10. But I know Wink Martindale, and I know he doesn't adjust a lot, and I know he blitzes a lot. I'm going to take Bills by 6. I'm going to say 33-27 Bills.
All right. So I think we're 1 point off of each other then.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
at 34.
I'm not going to bet on that game. I do have some. I guess I have some props, but I'm not going to bet like Bills -2 or whatever. I might bet Packers -7 though. And you know what I am betting? I'm betting on the Browns against the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right.
Yeah. Let's hop in. Browns-Chiefs. Browns won their first playoff game since 1994 last week. Chiefs were on the bye. So you got a 1 versus 6 matchup at Arrowhead. How do you think it plays out?
Well, let's talk about the Browns first, because we saw the Browns have a heck of a game in there. And this was without Kevin Stefanski, by the way.
Right.
Because he tested positive for COVID. I think he's back this week, though. And, I mean, to be fair, though, Pittsburgh, they didn't look great. And, I mean, they kind of got, exposed, I feel like, for what we all really thought they were. Because, like, a lot of people were saying they had a really easy run to 11-0. And then they lose, like, I don't know how many they lost after that. But
I think they lost 5 out of their last 6 to end the season.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
And Baker just looks really calm, though. He looks composed.
And I want to give a shout out to the Cleveland offensive line. They didn't have their coach. They didn't have Joel Bitonio at left guard, who, for my money, was the best left guard in football this year. And you're talking, they were playing a guy that Baker met an hour before the game, and they crushed one of the best pass rushes in the last 10 years. This 2020 Steelers team is all sorts of records for sacks and pressure rate.
TJ Watt, it's
insane.
Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and he just got completely clamped.
Yeah, and you're talking, I mean, Tuitt did practically nothing. Cam Hayward did, practically nothing. And it was a special performance from the Browns offensive line. I don't know if Pittsburgh was gassed. I don't know what happened to Pittsburgh, and that's just a bizarre performance. I know they were playing from behind, so you kind of want to prepare for the run because Hunt and Chubb are so good. But Baker felt like he had all day to throw, and it was 28-0. One of the rare games is 28-0 after one quarter, and
they had like the first snap, I think. Right in the end.
First snap, right over the head of Ben. I don't know why no one fell on it, because at the very least it's just a safety or ball on the 1 or whatever. And then they're like, we're not going to fall on it. Cleveland falls on it. Boom, 7-0 in 15 seconds.
The snap of the head gave me flashbacks to the Super Bowl 48, I think it was. Yeah, where it went over Peyton's head.
Yep, Seattle, Denver, one of the pretty dumb Super Bowls.
That one did not live up to the hype.
No, 43-8, number 1 offense, number 1 defense, and went right down the drain. So, yeah, tough day at the office there for Peyton that day, and tough day at the office for Ben Roethlisberger. 4 interceptions. Props to Cleveland for catching them, because that's I'll get to Patrick Mahomes in a second, but part of forcing quarterbacks into bad throws is actually catching them, and this is what Mahomes has almost been famous for this year. I've seen the clip. 16 dropped interceptions. Some of them are easier than others, but do you trust Cleveland to force Mahomes into a turnover or two and actually catch the ball?
That's a good question. They have to actually catch the ball, I think, is the key, because that's really, I mean, really, how else are you going to stop Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah,
because you're not going to sack him. Mm-hmm. Like he's going to be running around in the pocket all day, and if he has to run for a couple first downs, he will. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be really hard to beat guys like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is probably one. If George Kittle was playing this year, it would be probably a good competition between them. Mm-hmm. For who the best tight end in the league is, but I think it's Kelce.
Yeah, Kelce had a phenomenal year.
Yeah, he's just been lights out, and I think he's a great guy that Mahomes can go to in a pinch as well. That being said, the Chiefs, we were talking before the show went live, the Chiefs' offense hasn't really been as explosive as we were used to seeing out of them in recent years. Mm-hmm. Like, they've lost a lot of games by 6 or less points. You mentioned they only beat Atlanta because of a missed field goal and a dropped interception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have my worries about Kansas City, and I know like Chiefs fans can defend it with, oh well, Andy Reid's not calling the plays he's going to call in the playoffs, or oh well, they didn't catch the interceptions. But I want to point out that in every stage of a quarterback's development, you look at the throw quality. If you are a college quarterback and you are consistently throwing the ball to defensive backs, that's a problem. So why isn't it a problem when Patrick Mahomes is hitting a defensive back in stride? Like, why is it like, why can Chiefs fans, gloss over, oh, well, he didn't catch it, so it doesn't matter.
You should still be concerned. You don't want your guy throwing it to the defensive back.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to hit A.J. Terrell in the hands. I don't want to hit Marcus Peters in the hands. And for as much as I don't really like what Cleveland's done with the secondary, I don't want to hit Denzel Ward in the hands. He should be back this week. I don't want to hit even Robert Jackson, practice squad caliber, like bench caliber defensive backs. If you're hitting them in the hands, they should catch the football. And I don't know. I think Kansas City will eventually overwhelm Cleveland. I have Cleveland jumping out to a hot start. I have money on Kareem Hunt scoring at any time against his former Chiefs. And I think I have Cleveland leading at the half, and then the Chiefs turn it around in the third and fourth quarters.
Okay.
So drop your score prediction.
It's a good score. It's going to be tough to predict this one. I'm going to go 35-21. Chiefs win.
So I'm going to say the Browns lead at the half, 21-14, and then the Chiefs flip it and they win 31-21. I think they have a big second half, and keep rolling and get to host the AFC title game for the second time.
If Patrick Mahomes wins a playoff game, that's going to do great things for him. He's going to get the momentum, and I think he's going to start getting explosive again when it matters.
Yeah, and I think for as much as I don't want to listen to the Andy Reid doesn't call good plays in the regular season, Andy Reid's unbelievable off a bye. Like, he's, I want to say, the best record off a bye ever. And I don't think there's any way that Kansas City loses this game. I think maybe Cleveland can win, like that cliche. I think Cleveland could steal the game, but I think Kansas City will roll. And you get a play from Honey Badger, you get a play from Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Willie Gay, L'Jarius Sneed, one of my favorite players in the draft. You get a play from anyone, and the Chiefs essentially win the game, I think. Speaking of winning, the Saints swept the Buccaneers in the regular season, but they are playing Sunday night in the Superdome, part 3, and it's Brady Breeze on the good old History Channel. What do you think happens?
After the Saints crushed the Bears in the Nickelodeon Bowl, I feel like, by the way, Nickelodeon killed that broadcast.
Oh, amen to that.
They did great. I was talking with somebody actually on the app a little while back, and we were talking about Noah Eagle, who was doing play-by-play for that game. Mm-hmm. And he's the play-by-play guy on the radio for the Clippers. Mm-hmm. He did great at football. If that was his first time calling football, I'm sure he had a little bit of practice too. He did great, though. I loved it. And then him and Nate Burleson it was awesome.
Yeah, and I thought that was a great way to introduce kids to football. And of course, the kids could have watched it on CBS if they really wanted to, I guess, or NBC or whatever channel.
CBS.
Whatever channel the normal NFL games are on. But I thought it was great. I love the slime. I love the young Sheldon. I know some people didn't really like the young Sheldon explaining things.
It was funny. What are you talking about?
I love it. And I thought it was that would have been cool for 7-year-old me to sit down and watch the game. Now, similar to the I'm going to jump back to Ravens Titans for a second. So that was like a mega cast. I think there were maybe 6 channels that had the game on, but I flipped to ESPN2 during the game, and it was it was Rex Ryan, Matt Hasselbeck, and Randy Moss, maybe one other person. They were breaking down the game while it happened live. And that was super, super cool to me. I hated it as a Ravens fan because I wanted to watch is it Testator still? I wanted to watch the ESPN broadcast.
Oh, it's Steve Levy.
Okay. I wanted to watch the main broadcast, but if I was watching, say, Browns Steelers or Rams Seahawks or any of the other games, like I would have been like, yes, I want to hear Randy Moss talk about Cooper Kupp's route running, or I want to hear Rex Ryan say why the Steelers suck today, you know. So hated it as a fan of the Ravens, but I love the variety of broadcasts, whether it's Nick, whether it's the coach, kind of like the former players talking about the game. So shout out to Nick, shout out to ESPN.
Only downside is the kids are probably going to be disappointed when they grow up and realize that there's no slime cannons for real.
That's true. That's true. And shout out to Nickelodeon valuable player Mitch Trubisky.
Hell yeah. Mitch Trubisky, who actually in that game threw a perfect pass to Javon Wims' Butterfingers. That one made me cringe.
That was tragic. Because Trubisky played well, and it's not even like stats looked good, but he didn't actually like throw it was bad. Like he against Jacksonville, the stats looked good, but he had some of the worst throws of the month. Like I think he had one throw that was into quintuple coverage, not even double coverage, not even triple coverage. There were like 5 Jags and 1 Bear, just throws it there. It's like, why are you doing this, Trubisky? And I think he was competent against a sturdy New Orleans defense.
Yeah. But then again, the Saints are the Saints.
This is true.
Drew Brees looks great still. Even if he's older, and I can tell like age is starting to get to him a little bit. Like he was missing a lot of games this year. He had how many rib fractures did he have?
I want to say it was 9, 10, 11. It was
bad.
It was almost like the Ravens with COVID. It's like every day, it's like, oh, another player in COVID. Well, another broken rib for Drew Brees. And, props to Brees. I think he's somewhere between 2015 Peyton and, like a halfway decent quarterback. Like he makes the throws, like most of the throws he makes, but there's just some that it just takes a while to get there. And he's throwing with such anticipation, and he's really it's like when you play a video game and you like move the sliders all the way over. He's like playing with 100% anticipation, but like his throw power isn't there. He's just like lollipopping it into these places. And if you're playing, say, if they played against the Rams, I think Darius Williams just takes a step and oop, that's an interception. Or Jalen Ramsey's like, oop, that's an interception. I think Tampa can do that this week. Carlton Davis, love Jamel Dean. Love Sean Murphy Bunting, even though he didn't have the best of seasons. And I think Tampa can beat New Orleans. I know New Orleans won the first 2, but I don't want to doubt Brady. I think Brady is going to have a better game than Brees.
But that one probably going to come down to defense too. Mm-hmm. I really feel like because Tom Brady, he kind of struggled a little bit at the start of the year, but that was expected. He's learning a new playbook for the first time in his career. He's he has like a really good team around him though. I think that helped him improve as the year went along, and he started to get Gronkowski more involved. Then Antonio Brown came along. Mike Evans is I don't know if he's going to play in this game. I thought he was hurt.
I believe he's going to play. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. He was really good against Washington last week. Also, shout out to the Washington football team. They played really well. Taylor Heineke looked great.
Yeah.
So heck, he probably played better than Lamar. So if you're talking about Maryland quarterbacks, he probably played better than Lamar did.
His rushing touchdown was absurd.
Oh, that's one of the plays of the year.
Dove into the end zone. That was
and it's like, oh man.
And he did it so fast. Like that was ridiculous.
And just what a game for Heineke. I don't know if was a game plan thing from Tampa that they were leading and they didn't want to like screw up, or if that's just a Taylor Heineke in his first real game as a starter with Washington. I know he started a game, maybe 2 for Carolina a couple years ago, but I don't know. All that I know is I liked what I saw. Heineke was decisive, and even when they lost to Carolina a couple weeks ago, Heineke was making plays, and he was kind of getting screwed over by his receivers. And I believe Washington had 5 drops. So you're looking at Heineke's game could have been a lot better if if his Cam Sims, Steven Sims, McLaurin, etc. were holding onto the football.
Yeah. So that being said, prediction, Tampa Bay, I think, wins 27-20.
Ooh, okay. So I don't have any money on this game. I don't really want to put money on it. There's some other games. Yeah, I'll throw $5 on it. But Bucs Saints, I do think the Bucs will win. I think this is the game that if there's any game that comes down to the final play, it's this one. As cliche as it is, I think it's this one. And I trust Brady to make the throw more than I trust Breeze. And yes, that includes Godwin and the weapons. Godwin had 5 drops last week. So I don't think he's going to have 5 drops this week. I hope for his sake he doesn't.
That would be an anomaly.
Yeah, because I think PFF said he had 6 drops in his career heading into this game, and he had 5, in one game. Jeepers. And I'm thinking, I'm going to take Tampa. I'm going to take them 27-23, and that sets up a rematch of Aaron Rodgers' worst game of his career, Packers, Bucs, and both of us have the Bills and the Chiefs. So that would be an exciting conference championship week.
I feel like Bills Chiefs is the AFC championship that a lot of people want to see.
Mm-hmm. And I think in a way that's kind of like the one ideal matchup. 2, that might be a better game than the Super Bowl.
Honestly,
because I know Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I get it. But at the same time, I think Buffalo and Kansas City have been the best 2 teams in the NFL this year. The way that Buffalo's been rolling recently and the way that we know Kansas City can play. Like they were down 24-0 to Houston, came back and won. They were down 10 in the fourth quarter against San Francisco, came back and won. They were down 10 against Rams Titans. They came back and won last year. And I think it's a special game. Allen versus Mahomes should be exciting. The first game was up in Orchard Park in the rain. It was a pretty crappy game. Edwards-Helaire had a great game, and I think you're going to have some fireworks next week, regardless of who plays. As much as I don't like Baltimore's chances against Kansas City, it's theoretically an explosive game, explosive offenses. So there's that. Speaking of explosive offenses, Houston's offense might not be explosive much longer if Deshaun Watson heads out. What do you make of the rumors that he wants out of Houston?
I feel like there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to call in. I'm talking about that. What did he just literally tweeted today? He went from a 2 to a 10, and we already know what he's referencing by that.
Yeah, not a good look for Houston sports. Right
it doesn't look great. Like they mentioned as soon as the offseason begins, I'm pretty sure is when they said that they wanted to have him be. They wanted him to have a role in finding the new head coach, the new GM. And the next thing you know, they hire Nick Caserio without any of his input. Like that's a bad look. That's a really bad look. And then he's talking about how the team isn't doing a good job with the social justice stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I would not be surprised if he leaves in the offseason. I really wouldn't.
See, I think if you're Houston and you trade Deshaun Watson, I think there has to be a real schism there. And because you don't trade franchise quarterbacks. You look in NFL history, there's not many, if any, that top 5 caliber quarterbacks that just get dumped to another team. And I know the big rumor is Miami offering I think 3 firsts and was it 3 firsts and Tua, something like that, 2 firsts and Tua. And frankly, as much as a haul as Houston could get back for Watson, you're never going to get the value of Deshaun Watson.
I don't think you do that at all.
And look, if I'm Houston, here's my plan. Hire the head coach that Deshaun Watson wants. If it's Bieniemy, if it's Kafka, if it's, I don't know, some dude from off the street, hire the guy Watson wants. You need to please Watson. You need to say, all right, well, we don't have a first-round pick. Oops. We don't – because, hey, we got your stud left tackle. We don't have a second-round pick. Oops. Well, who do you want in the third round? What do you want to do? And I think you give Deshaun Watson carte blanche because he's not. This isn't a like Houston traded James Harden and got 8 first-round picks, 4 pick swaps, and 4 legitimate firsts. This isn't James Harden. This isn't Paul George. This isn't insert NBA superstar. This is
not the NBA. Period.
Yeah, this is a Deshaun Watson is a top 3 asset in the NFL. It's Mahomes, and then you can argue Watson because he has more experience, more good games, more whatever you want to say, more than Josh Allen, more than Lamar Jackson, whoever you think is, and he's younger than Aaron Rodgers, younger than Russell Wilson, younger than Brady, younger than it's Mahomes, then Watson, and you're not going to trade Watson for. I don't think there's a value that you can.
I feel like also as well, like both of those teams are just so built around those 2 QBs. Like Miami was just all in on Tua. We knew that from the beginning. And to have Tua only for a year, and then trade him while he's developing under Fitzpatrick, that would be a mistake. You don't need to trade a developing QB. He hasn't looked good. He has had to have Fitzpatrick bail him out a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But he's young.
Right.
I pretty much said this already, but he's in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to make mistakes. He's learning. He's not perfect.
And look at the weapons that he has. As much as I love Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, and shout out to the Dolphins fans in the chat that love Jakeem Grant and Malcolm Perry. Does he have a wide receiver 1? No. Does he have anyone on the roster that fits his skill set? No, not really. And you can say, well, he had this great receiving core at Alabama. That's true. Hey, guess what? You have the number 3 pick. Go get Devonta Smith. You have the number 18 pick. Go get Jalen Waddle. It's as simple as that. Go get guys that will fit to his play style. Guys that get NFL open. There's a reason he had a lot of success with Jerry Jeudy. Devontae Parker in a vacuum might be this great receiver, yes, but he doesn't have a skill set that fits what Tua does really well, and that's getting the open guy. If you're Devontae Parker, he's not a great route runner. He's not a great separator. He can win contested catches. It's the Allen Robinson method of success. DeAndre Hopkins to some degree. Kenny Golladay. I put DeAndre Hopkins and Tua together. I don't think it works. But if you put him with Jerry Jeudy or Amari Cooper or Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, any number of guys, Devontae Adams, I think it works immediately. And I think Miami really needs to gear the offense around Tua and system, whatever, get a guy that Tua likes as an OC and get fast route runners at wide receiver.
Yeah. At the same time, though, even though we know this probably won't happen, it is a little scary to think about Brian Flores with Deshaun Watson.
This is true.
That is a horrifying combo.
Because the defense is already looking really good. They were one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. And, Xavier Howard, all-pro caliber guy. Byron Jones has a history of being a Pro Bowl caliber guy. I love Noah Igbenogany. And even, oh, my goodness, Bobby McCain had a strong year. And the front 7 is only getting better. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. So bottom line, I just don't think this trade should happen. Both those teams are just too well built around who they have right now.
And I think Miami has holes in their roster, but they're fixable holes. That's the thing. They're not – it's the quarterback I don't think is a hole that you just fix with Deshaun Watson. And quarterback's not their only hole, if you will. And you roll with – if you're talking to Deshaun Watson and the current Miami Dolphins, I don't think that's winning a Super Bowl. But you put Tua and you get upgrade on the offensive line, upgrade at wide receiver. That's a Super Bowl team. That's a Super Bowl defense, I think. You get another year in the Flores system for X and Jones and et cetera. You could have some ballers there. That's a team that is going to compete with Buffalo to win the next few AFC North chances or AFC North
East
titles. Oh, yep, you're right. AFC East, that's an L for me.
Yeah. That would be fun if that did happen. AFC East could be really interesting now that it's no longer all Patriots. And if the Jets improve under Saleh.
Yeah, you throw Justin Fields or I love me some Zach Wilson. You throw one of them up in New York, and I think they have and draft capital with the Jamal Adams trade. I don't think the Jets are going to be too bad this year. And I know I've been on the main show and Frankie's been hammering for Sewell, and I understand that. But I do agree with some Jets fans that you're probably never going to be this bad again. You're probably never going to have the chance to get a Justin Fields, again, or a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson. And they were in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes until week 15 when they beat your Rams. Rest in peace, the Jets. Rest in peace.
Moving on.
Moving on. We can go to my sad team, the old Detroit Red Wings. And hockey's back. I know you're excited.
I'm very excited. It's been the LA Kings actually played in the very last game for 7 weeks before any form of pro sports were back.
Wow. That's wild.
300 and now I think 310 days ago, I want to say.
Wow. I remember where I was when the NBA stopped, and that was very jarring.
Yeah.
I'm glad the NHL's back. It had a very successful run in the Canadian bubbles up in Toronto and Edmonton. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning their second Stanley Cup. And who do you think wins this year? It's going to be a strange year, new divisions.
It's so hard to gauge what's going to happen this year. So let me kind of break down really what the season is going to look like. So there's 4 divisions. Mm-hmm. Teams are only going to be playing each other within the divisions, so it's only interdivisional matchups. One of those divisions, by the way, is all Canada, which is very fun to see.
Yeah, you're going to get a Canadian team in the last 4 for the first time in Ottawa 2017 when they lost in double overtime to Pittsburgh. That was really sad. I still feel bad for Ottawa for that.
The game that basically broke the Senators.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else am I talking about? I think 56 game regular season.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I think it's 56.
56. And we know that the first, I think, 1 or 2 rounds of the playoffs will be divisional.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're bubble.
I think I have it figured out that the top 4 teams in each division are going to go to the playoffs. So it's going to be 16 out of 31 per usual. So the divisions will be ranked 1 through 4. So let's say in the Canadian division, it's like Maple Leafs 1, Canadians 2, Oilers 3, Jets 4. Yeah. So the Jets would play the Maple Leafs and the Oilers play the Canadians, best of 7. The winners of those, let's say it's Toronto and Montreal, they play in the Canadian final, if you will. And then the winner of that goes to the Final 4, where the teams are ranked based on points percentage. So let's say it's Vegas out west and Tampa in the central and Toronto and blanking. Choose a 4th team. They'll be ranked 1 through 4 based on point percentage. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. The winners play in the Stanley Cup final. So we could get some funky matchups this year. We could get like Vegas, Colorado. Maybe not Vegas, Colorado, but like Toronto, Tampa. That could happen. Or Winnipeg and Vegas. Winnipeg, Colorado, stuff like that. And I'm really excited to see that. And you get some potential for some funky matchups. So
a team that's usually in the West competing against another team that's usually in the West for the fun.
Absolutely.
So, that'd be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. And so who do you think, if you had to choose one, like gut reaction, who wins the Stanley Cup in January?
Gut reaction, Tampa. June? I think they're going to repeat. I think they have the pieces to do it because it feels like they're a team that have the pieces to be able to continue to compete despite Kucherov, who was arguably their best player, being hurt and out for the year.
Right. So I'm going to just go out and say I'm a fairly casual hockey fan. My Red Wings suck. I know that. The Senators suck. There's some good teams, Vegas, Colorado, Tampa. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's Colorado's year. Nathan McKinnon, one of the best players in hockey. I think Colorado gets it done for the first time since their 20-year anniversary of the 2001 title.
Yep. They are the favorite, like I said. So I don't know if that's going to change yet, but and then something else I'm excited for that they're going to be trying out this year is that they're going to be doing some outdoor games on Lake Tahoe at the golf course with no fans in attendance. Just They're going to build like log cabin locker rooms. They're going to build like every like necessary thing there is to have a game, but just no fans, no stands. They're just going to be playing out in the middle of Lake Tahoe.
That's gonna be exciting. That's kind of like if I got NHL, I feel like, or NHL 21, a video game, like that would be, I think, my ideal. Like, this is just cool atmosphere. Then you don't have to worry about fans in a video game.
Exactly. They should do that in like in 21. They should add like a bubble mode where you can play.
Ooh, that'd be really cool.
They could add like all their own visuals to it. That's something EA would do.
Okay. I mean, EA doesn't do much for Madden.
If they did decide to include that feature, that's probably what they would do, is they'd add all their own stuff. But
yeah, I don't trust EA sometimes.
I don't either.
Oh man, good old EA Sports. Well, EA Sports is hot garbage, but you know what else is hot? Could be hot garbage. Let's check out some hot takes today. And I pushed it out on the app today. I'm gonna go find that post real quick. Jack, you want to start us off with your favorite hot take?
The one that I found that I really enjoyed.
Okay. Let's hear it.
This is from Patriots News on the U Stadium app. Okay. The Browns will be Super Bowl champions, and the MVP will be Myles Garrett.
That's a spicy one. I think if the Browns were to, beat the Chiefs, and then go on the road either in Baltimore or in Buffalo, here's, I guess, where I come from. I think the 8 teams left, all of them have the chance to win the Super Bowl. I think the Browns and Rams are a little bit on the outside, but hey, if they get hot, Baker Mayfield is, I think, fully capable of having a solid 3-game run, especially when Kansas City's defense isn't very good, Buffalo's defense isn't very good, and he killed Baltimore's defense last time. And heck, I don't know, Baker Mayfield running to the Super Bowl. It is a Super Bowl MVP quarterback centric award. But yeah, it'd be cool to see Myles Garrett win.
It would be cool to see a defensive player win something that usually goes to an offensive player.
Absolutely. Because last year I would have voted for Nick Bosa had the 49ers won, because he was sensational. So I'm gonna choose a spicy one. Shout out to Antifa Alec. He says Lamar has already had a better and more accomplished career than Vic. I'm gonna have to agree with this one. I think, league MVP, that helps. 2 1,000-yard seasons in 3 years as a starter. He's one of the winningest quarterbacks through his first 3 seasons ever. And I think Lamar has a lot of road out left to accomplish things. And I think, frankly, he's a better player than Michael Vick is at any point in his career. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, what did Michael Vick have? I'm looking up his stats right now. By year 2 or year 3.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I know his 1,000-yard season came in 2006. He had his 2010 season with the Eagles. He was Burt Bell Award winner, which is not MVP, but kind of sort of like MVP. So he had some really good seasons both with Atlanta and Philly, but I don't think any of his seasons compare to what Lamar did last season.
None of these numbers look like extraordinary. Like, he only had 50 completions in 2001. Year 2 he has 231, and then year 3 he's back to 50.
Right. And I think with the thing with Lamar, I've talked about this on the app before, that like scrambling versus design runs. Michael Vick was a scrambler through and through. A lot of his yards came through scrambling. You check any advanced site from 2006, 2007, or I guess not 2007, but 2006, his 1,000-yard season, 80% of those yards are scramble yards. When Lamar runs, the last 3 years, he's had 500 designed yards. That never happens. It's Cam in 2017, then Lamar the last 3 years. You just roll with I think they're fundamentally different players. I think maybe Vic had a more talented arm, in terms of just like howitzer, like Kyler Murray kind of arm. I talked to some Kyler fans, guys that saw him in high school. The man can throw. I don't think Lamar doesn't have a bad arm. I think he has a reputation of having like a subpar arm. he can sling it. But maybe not Michael Vick, like the throw power, like to use a Madden stat. Because though his throw power is not Vick, Allen, Mahomes, but he can launch one.
I hear the words Michael Vick and Madden together, and it's like everybody knows what.
I don't remember who I was talking to, but I think Michael Vick has like maybe an overrated legacy because of how dominant he is in Madden.
Yeah.
And I want to maybe not a hot take that I saw the other day, but I was talking to some Steelers fans, and I think Lamar Jackson has had a higher peak than Ben Roethlisberger.
I can agree.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, like in a season, Lamar's 2019 is better than anything that Ben did.
Yeah, I don't think Ben was like spectacular. Like Ben certainly was not bad. Let me get that out of the way. I don't think
he had some really strong seasons. 2018 he was very good. 2013 he was very good.
Yeah, but Lamar, he's looked better. I feel like more the league MVP for starters, and then you can just like look at their last 2 playoff games just now. I feel like that's a good enough comparison.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to Alec. He was the one that I was talking to about, or he mentioned that Vic was overrated because of the Madden career. Madden. So shout out to Alec.
I can see him in the chat. It was literally me.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't remember who it was. So I'm not sure how to say your name, but N Solito 24. The Raiders make the AFC Championship game next season.
I mean, do they even make the playoffs is the first question.
Yeah. See, I like Derek Carr. I like Josh Jacobs. I like Ruggs in the offense. I don't like the defense. Offensive line is good. I don't like the defense. I don't think they have an above average player on defense.
And John Gruden isn't the best head coach.
Yeah, he's good offensively. I'm not a big fan of what he does defensively. Now, granted, he is an offensive guy, and what Rod Marinelli is in as defensive coordinator. At least he was interim DC. Yeah, I don't really trust Vegas defensively. Offensively, I don't care how good they can be. They're just so porous defensively.
Yeah, they need to really shore that up if they even want to be a playoff team for starters.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to bring this comment up on the screen. So from XD, how about Lamar wins something in the postseason before you compare him to a future Hall of Famer? Let me dispel this myth. Ben Roethlisberger was not good in the first Super Bowl that he won. He was not good in the playoff games that he won early on. When he has good playoff games, productive, lots of yards, lots of touchdowns, the Steelers lose. This isn't they generally lose. They lose some of the time. They are genuinely terrible when Ben has to do anything in the playoffs. Like, I'll pull up the exact stats, but you're talking if he has more than 25, 26, 27 attempts, they are legitimately 0-8. They do not win when Ben has to do stuff in the playoffs. So if you want to give that future Hall of Famer to Hines Ward, yeah, absolutely. Or Santonio Holmes. I love Holmes. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but I love Holmes. I thought he was a special player when he played. And you got to think, 2005 Steelers, one of the better defenses in the NFL. 2008 Steelers, one of the best defenses in the NFL. 2010 Steelers that made the Super Bowl, one of the best defenses in the NFL. It was not Ben Roethlisberger doing that. The talent of Lamar Jackson is superior to that of Ben Roethlisberger. I think that is point blank. I think everything else being equal, I think Lamar Jackson wins more games than Ben Roethlisberger in the same situation. Like, you put some rushing pieces around Lamar, you put some good receivers around Ben. Same situation. I think Lamar Jackson leads you to more wins than Ben Roethlisberger. And I get it. I get this. 2 Super Bowl wins are nice. The 13 playoff wins are nice. But a lot of those playoff wins are coming from, hey, Ben didn't actually do anything. He had a 22 passer rating against the Seahawks in Super Bowl 40. Come on now.
All right.
Well, got my rant out.
I'll give one more hot take. This is from Notes on the U Stadium app. Jets and Jaguars are in the playoff race in the 2022-23 season.
Ooh. I think Jim. So not this year, but next year. I think that could happen. Maybe. It
really depends on how different the rosters are by then. I know those teams. I know Jacksonville's definitely been doing a lot of purging, but now that they're going to get Trevor Lawrence, I mean, there's nowhere to go but up. I feel like for the Jags, they can build around him. I think there's a chance they could at least compete, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think there would have Super Bowl aspirations, but I do like a lot of the things that the Jets have done the last couple of years, and I like a lot of the things that the Jags have done. You know, I like the Urban Meyer hire. I like the Robert Saleh hire. I like Joe Douglas's GM. So yeah, I think Jacksonville and New York are trending in the right direction, but I mean, I don't necessarily trust them to be contenders, but that's more on Jacksonville and the Jets, like name value. It's like the Browns. I don't trust the Browns, even if I don't know anything about the Browns. It's like, I don't really trust the Browns, you know?
Yeah. And I do like what they're doing, though. I like the Salah hire. I like the Urban Meyer hire, and yeah, I've had as somebody who's a fan of the team that has Jalen Ramsey, I know it's been kind of a mess in Jacksonville, like ever since the Ramsey trade. But the big haul they got back for it, that can do some big things.
Right, absolutely. So I'll roll through some of these YouTube comments. So Alec, not a Jonathan Abram fan, splash. I love Jonathan Abram. Like Madden career, I would buy his. If I had money, I'd buy his jersey. I love the way he plays. He just is not good at free safety, and I don't know if that's Vegas being incompetent. I think so, but really Abram is a strong safety, asked to play free safety, and then you have Joyner, and then you have oh my goodness, I think they had someone else. They're not rotation, but the way they play, the way they play their guys in the secondary, it just doesn't work. It's just incorrect. You know, it takes 10 seconds to realize Jonathan Abram should not be playing free safety. And it takes 10 seconds to realize LaMarcus Joyner should be playing free safety. And it takes 10 seconds to realize Nevin Lawson should be playing slot corner. And it's just bizarre. And I didn't like the Arnett pick, and I think Vegas is all over the place. So I love John Abram as a player, as a guy, as a dude, as a football player, but as a Las Vegas Raider, no bueno. Hey, shout out. This should be my uncle. Will you be covering the Premier League? Jack, do you follow the Premier League much?
If I watch I'm going to get so much hate for this. If I watch soccer at all, it's MLS.
Okay. I mean, my Swansea Swans or Swansea City, they are in the championship. I don't watch a ton of Premier League. So there are some people on the app that will be launching shows, soccer shows. So I will get in touch and let you know when people will do Premier League stuff, World Cup stuff, any number of things. So XD is back for more, 5th most wins of all time with a career record of 156 and 74. You didn't mention the regular season the first time. And look, I get all those wins. They're nice. But remember, some of those are really good defenses. And he has future Hall of Famers all across the board. Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, Alan Faneca, Marquise Pouncey, who I don't think should be in the Hall of Fame. That's a story for another time. But I don't know.
I love the splash in the chat.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, Jack?
I think we've covered everything we wanted to get to.
All right, and I want to do a little fact check here. I have so the resume of Ben Roethlisberger in the playoffs. When he has 35 or more pass attempts, the Steelers are 0-8. When he has 35 or fewer pass attempts, the Steelers are 13-1. His only loss is the 2004 AFC title game, his second ever playoff game. So fundamentally, when Ben Roethlisberger does less, the Steelers win.
Should Kyrie retire from the chat?
I don't think so. I think he has a real chance to win another title this year. Of course, Kyrie is a special place in my heart as a Cavs fan. You know, he had the biggest shot in franchise history. So, I don't know. I don't think he should retire. I don't know. I want him to get his head right, and it's the same sort of thing I feel with Josh Gordon. Like, as like a human to human, I want them to be in the best place. So if he needs to retire, I guess so be it. But he's an unbelievable player. And shout out to my cousin.
All right.
So I think that'll wrap us up. Thank you guys for joining. This is episode 1 of the Sports Desk. We will be back next week at 6:30 on Friday. Any last words, Jack?
I mean, if we have any hot takes that I'm going to be looking back. So if we have any hot takes that end up being cold takes, I'm going to be calling them out. So
yes, sir. I'm very excited. And we will see you guys next week.